Good morning, everyone. I just want to start off by thanking everyone for attending this morning. I can see a few hands up going, a few hands going up already. If you do have any questions, guys, please pop them in the chat area or the Q&A area. We do have a Q&A section at the end, so we'll be answering those questions at the end, but feel free to pop them in whenever you want. So as I was saying, thanks to everyone for attending this morning. As you can see, we have very exciting news, which I know has been a long time coming for many of you. So as you can see on screen, Arthur and Fixflo now have an integration. So obviously as property managers, we're aware that kind of one of the biggest pain points for you guys is dealing with maintenance issues. So Fixflo is essentially a solution for that. Okay. So today's session will run for about 20-25 minutes, depending on how many questions we get. There's about 5 or so segments. We have Will here from the Fixflo team, who I will allow, I'll let him to introduce himself. He's going to bring you through some of the Fixflo side of things. I'll take you through how to deal with things on Arthur. Okay. So I'm Jamie Dunbar. I am, some of you may know me already, I'm the onboarding and implementation team lead. So obviously when we get a new client, my team and I will onboard them. We'll then train and support throughout the Arthur journey. And Will, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Jamie. Pleasure to be here today. Very excited, as Jamie said. But yeah, my name is Will Arrowsmith. I'm the sales team lead here at Fixflo. I've been at Fixflo 4.5 years now. And yeah, very excited for this next part of the journey with our relationship with Arthur.
Cheers, Will. Cool. So just today's agenda, as I mentioned, it should run for about 20-25 minutes, depending on how many questions we get. First, we'll go through Will will talk about what is Fixflo and the benefits of integrating Fixflo and Arthur. Okay. Then we'll have a look at a system demonstration. So we'll show you a live example of how the Fixflo integration works. It's super easy. Then we'll show you how to set up the integration. So those will kind of merge together with the demonstration. What's coming in the future. So essentially, this is kind of part 1 of a 3-step journey with Fixflo. This, again, I'll let kind of Will talk about that at that point of the webinar. But Fixflo has several packages, so we are integrating them one after the other. But obviously, you'll know all about that at the end of this webinar. And we will then end with a Q&A session. So as I did mention, and for those of you that may have joined a little late, please pop all your questions in the Q&A section or the chat section at the bottom of your screen, and we'll answer them at the end. Okay. And I do also just want to mention that this is recorded, so this will be available on our website and on our YouTube channel afterwards. Cool. So if Will, you want to just go through what Fixflo is and the benefits of using Fixflo?
Sure, happy to. So yeah, hopefully quite a few of you on here already today have heard of us, but Fixflo, we are a repairs and maintenance management solution, essentially managing that full journey from the moment that the tenant reports the repair to the issue being resolved, be that from a reactive repair standpoint or kind of a planned maintenance or compliance related task as well. We are all about making that process as seamless and easy as possible for all of those involved, tenants, landlords and everyone really. The part of Fixflo we're focusing on today is kind of Jamie's already mentioned is the first piece. We call it Fixflo Basic, but it is our tenant repair reporting tool. And there are several kind of key benefits to that. So it's a really simple picture-based, easy to use system. So it's all about gathering accurate information from the tenant regarding that repair. As part of the product as well, and I'll jump into a quick demo in a moment, but we have some easy to follow kind of tenant guidance to educate them on what's their responsibilities and in terms of their lease, that is, but also offering them kind of guidance on how to resolve more minor issues themselves. But the key goal for us here is really just to free up your time, kind of allowing you to park those maintenance problems to one side and focus on the areas of the business that ultimately affect your bottom line.
Good, well. Cool. So we will move on to the next slide, and we're going to do a demonstration. So first of all, will essentially show you from the tenant side. So the tenant will see the Fixflo portal and raise the issue through the Fixflo portal via the Arthur tenant app. So there really is going to be very little they'll have to do in terms of the difference between what they were doing before and what they'll be doing now. So we'll show you that. Then we will come over to my screen and I will show you how to deal with that issue once it comes into Arthur. As we know, issues raised by tenants on the app will come through as a task. So I'll show you that, how to define a task that came from Fixflo or was added by a manager or through the tenant app without the Fixflo integration. And then finally, I'll show you how you can set up your integration within Arthur. Super easy, takes 2 seconds. So I will end my screen share, and if Will, you want to share yours and raise an issue for us, please.
Perfect. Will do. So just to double check, Jamie, you can see my screen, yeah?
Yeah, perfect.
Awesome. Guys, so I'm in the Arthur tenant app. Of course, 99% of the time this be kind of on their phone, but I'm just on my desktop today for demo purposes, just to make things nice and easy. So hopefully, yeah, you've seen this before. I'm a tenant on the Arthur system. In order to use the kind of Fixflo piece, I'm going to come up here and raise a maintenance problem. So I'll click on here. I can see kind of updates on whether previous jobs I've reported, kind of whether they've been completed and done, but I'm going to hit raise maintenance issue here. So what this pulls up is the super simple and easy Fixflo interface, essentially. So we got really nice, simple pictures. I've got a problem here, click here. But before the tenant kind of cracks on with that, the first feature to know is this language one. So issues can be reported in over 40 different languages. They're then, of course, flipped back into English by the time they land on your desk. So if you do have any tenants where English perhaps isn't their first language at the moment, some kind of Google Translate tough conversations going on. We're all here to service your tenants, but also make your life easier as well. My GCSE French doesn't quite stretch to reporting an issue, so I'm going to stick in English today. But yeah, really simple and easy, picture-based to begin with. I've got a problem here, click here. So let's say I've got an issue with my boiler. It's a gas boiler. Like I say, you can see the pictures are nice and big, easy to use, exactly the same as it would be on a mobile phone. Number of problems. What is your issue, Mr. Tenant? I'm sure it won't surprise you. Statistically for us, boilers not working is one of the most clicked buttons, particularly in kind of September, October, when they all get turned on for the first time. And what you can see appear in front of me now is a tenant embedded guidance pop-up, effectively, we call them. Now, these are there to educate your tenants on what's their responsibility under the terms of their lease, but also offer them kind of that self-service guidance bit. So if there are any kind of simple things that they can try that might be able to remedy the issue, in this case, kind of topping up the pressure. Now, we've got 15 of these embedded as standard for kind of things I'm sure you're all familiar with: mildew, broken light bulbs, all that good stuff. And those 15 alone reduce the amount of repairs coming through to you by about 20%. So where we find this really impacts you is your call out charges. How often are you sending an electrician out to flick a switch in a fuse box? That kind of thing really starts to add up. So it's about a fifth of issues we find these prevent coming through. They are fully customizable though, so feel free to edit them, change them to the kind of property specifics that you have. And yeah, really make them your own for your portfolio ultimately. But in this example, let's say I've got an issue with my boiler. I've tried that. I've still got a problem. So I'm going to click continue and I can now report this problem. I'm just using a form filler here for speed. But the idea is I'm getting asked a series of questions to accurately diagnose what the problem is. You don't just get I've got an issue with my boiler. We're trying to make them do some of the legwork. Of course, they don't have to. They can just put don't know. But you'll be shocked by just putting a star next to something, how many tenants take 5 seconds extra of effort to try and find that info for you. And of course, pays dividend on your side. The questions that you see here as well will also kind of change corresponding to whatever the issue is reported by the tenant. Photos and videos are next. We get about 300,000 issues reported through the platform every single month across about 1.2, 1.3 million properties now. When that's the case, on their phone, of course, through the tenant app, Arthur tenant app, they click on here, straight through to their camera roll. snap a few photos, record a short video. I've got a picture of a rather unhealthy looking boiler there. The brilliance of doing this through the Arthur Tenant app is, of course, it already knows who I am. So my address is already filled in there for me. It already knows who I am as a person. So that's your email address, your telephone number in there. And then the fifth and final step is just any further notes that the tenant might want to make. And then these questions down the bottom here, you can turn on or off, but it's just whether they want to be present, bit of pet alarm information, all that good stuff. But ultimately, they'll agree to the terms and conditions and submit that issue, and that is job done. So super simple and easy from the tenant side. The other big benefit of using Fixflo is the tenant will receive an email at this point. So kind of getting a catch-all, jump into my inbox here, a catch-all kind of giving them some information and saying, thank you for reporting the issue. We're on the case ultimately. Just like the pop-ups, this email is fully customizable. It's also worth noting it'll be your branding here. It won't be the Fixflo logo, but yeah, fully customizable. Our generic email is thank you for reporting the repair, gives them a rough idea of next steps. So all about managing those expectations as well down the bottom here. Just like the pop-ups though, this email is fully customizable. So feel free to edit it and change all the wording to how you see fit. And that is me. Jamie, I'll stop sharing and pass back to you. I think we're going to do questions at the end, guys. I can see a couple's come through, but we'll address them then.
Cool. Okay, cool. Thanks for that, Will. So as you guys can see, it's super easy to use. I think really one of the biggest benefits with using the Fixflo integration is essentially forcing the tenant to capture more relevant information. As we know, within Arthur doesn't force them to capture any relevant information. So that will potentially save you time messaging back, asking them to add certain information to the maintenance issue that they've raised. But as I mentioned, super easy to use. So the tenants will really have to do very little differently to what they're doing. And the only difference is they go to this Fixflo portal, which is super intuitive. And you can obviously see everything that you need and add all the information in for you guys. So now what we'll do is we'll have a look at how this looks on our side as property managers. So you should be able to see my screen now, and it should be my Arthur screen, which it is. So this will be the page that you guys are most familiar with. I will use the issue that Will has raised has come over to me. So as I can see at the very top of the page is I have one new tenant issue, okay? So obviously it was an issue raised by a tenant. So if I click into that, and as you can see, it comes through pretty much instantaneously. And here I have my issue. So this is how it will look on your task index page, okay? So as we know, on this page, it is really just a brief breakdown of what that task is, okay? So the first thing that we see is we have Fixflo here in brackets. So we can actually see whether this came from Fixflo, whether a property manager raised it or wherever it came from, okay? Perhaps I want to, I can also filter by task conditions or task types as the Fixflo task type. So I can see only issues that have come through Fixflo, okay? And that would be on my main task index page. So we can see a little breakdown of what the task is. Obviously, there is more information there. As I mentioned earlier, Fixflo is forcing the tenant to capture more information. So we will need to click into the task to see all of that and manage it as normal. Below, we can see who raised the issue, which tenancy they're related to, the property they're related to, okay? And again, we can see who raised it, so we know that's a tenant. One thing you'll notice is obviously at the moment, there's no due date and there's no assignee. Obviously, we don't want to give tenants the power to assign due dates to our tasks and assign members of the team to our tasks. So that's something that we'll have to do, which is normal with tenant raised issues. So what I'll do is I'll click into the task. And as you can see, it looks like a normal Arthur task, but it's come through Fixflo. So the description has a lot more information on it. Okay, so that's all come through there. So you know exactly what's going on. Again, on your right-hand side, you can see where the issue is, who raised the issue and all of that stuff, a little bit of their tenancy information also. Okay. And then also what we have here is we have a little document that's come through. So if I click on that, we can see this is kind of like a worksheet that's come through with the photo that Will added. That's been added there. So that will always remain on the task and that's been kept there. You can also download that. Obviously it's saved in a PDF form, but you guys can download that if you wish to. However, of course, it will always remain within the task documents unless you manually remove it. Okay. So just to deal with this now this is coming in a boiler's not working. Probably in this scenario, what I will do is instead of setting an assignee for the task and a due date, I will most likely in this scenario add a work order and get a contractor to go round. So the best thing to do here is to add a work order directly to the task that's been raised. And I'll show you why. Because it saves us quite a lot of work here, okay? So all of that information filters straight down to the work order and will then obviously be passed on to the contractor. This is pre-ticked, so any documents and images related to the task will also carry over to the work order. So all you will want to do then is set your due date, your start dates and things like that on your work order, select your contractors, and then they can carry out that work, okay? So that would be how you deal with that if you are getting an external source in to deal with this issue. If you are wanting to assign a member of the team, an internal member of your team to this issue, to perhaps visit the unit and troubleshoot before a contractor is involved, we'll go to edit task. I'm going to say it's the middle of winter, so let's get this done by the end of the day. We want them to have their heating working. Oh, due date, that's wrong. Okay, and we want it done by the end of the day. So the heating is on at night. Assign to, so of course I can assign this to Max. I'm going to say Max and Dan, their calendars are looking pretty empty today. So I'll assign those and save. Okay, and now that's essentially been passed on to Max and Dan to deal with the issue. Okay, cool. So again, very, very intuitive. It's very simple to use. Fixflo are obviously solely dedicated to dealing with maintenance issues, whereas Arthur is obviously it's 1/20th of Arthur. Okay, so as you can see, it is more. There is a lot more information there, but it's a lot more intuitive and easy to use at the same time. Cool. So before we move on to the Q&A, as I mentioned earlier, this is the first part of a 3-part journey. Fixflo has several different packages. At the moment, we've obviously started with the basic integration, just because I think that makes sense. What I'll do is I'll let Will talk about the further packages that we'll be integrating with in the future. This will be relevant for those of you that are already using Fixflo, okay? And obviously you will have a certain package with them, so it will be relevant for you to know when we're integrating the rest. Just a little note on this, September is when we'll be integrating the essentials, but I will let Will just discuss what those do and what the differences are between that and the basic integration.
Cool. Thanks, Jamie. So yeah, Fixflo Essentials is our kind of middle tier package. What you get in that is the kind of full works order and contractor management suite. So that kind of secondary part job comes into you, assigning that out to contractors. We have a contractor app and interface for them to use, talk to landlords through the system, automating a full audit trail of everything that you've done on that issue for you to then pass, I don't know if anything goes to tribunal or pass on to the landlord if needed. And you can do that all through clicks or fully automate that process. You'll see something we call at the bottom there called Copilot. So from the moment the tenant's reported the repair, it can be already with your contractor in 5 seconds through you kind of building rules, but we'll come to that one. And then Fixflo Professional is our piece to combat the ever increasing, it seems, amount of legislation in the industry at the moment. The idea behind this is to automate your compliance or any planned maintenance. So stating when a gas safety cert is due, how often you want it done, and how kind of far before the due date you want it to be done. And then again, that will automatically raise and instruct out to a contractor. The idea is the first thing you hear about a compliance related task is a notification from the contractor saying that the job's done and here's your certificate. But as Jamie said, kind of coming soon in big red letters, and I'm sure we'll jump into those later on in the year.
Cheers, Will. One thing I did forget to do is I just want to quickly show you how to subscribe to the Fixflo integration through Arthur. I've just switched accounts because my previous account is already subscribed, so I won't be able to show you how to do that on their end. Super easy, takes 2 seconds. You want to go to the Arthur store on the left-hand side. Okay, scroll down to the bottom, workflow integrations, select Fixflo, and then subscribe. Okay, so obviously, if you're already a Fixflo customer, which we'll talk about at the end, please contact Fixflo to discuss the integration. If you have never used Fixflo before, come into here and subscribe. Okay, and it will just link it up, and straight away your subscription will start, and tenants can start raising through the Fixflo integration. Cool. Okay, so now we're on to our Q&A section. So I will just have a look at some of your questions and we'll go through those. Okay, when are the additional integrations coming? So September for the next integration. I don't know, we don't know for the one after that, but I would imagine it will be 2 or 3 months after that, maybe less. But September time is for the essential integration. Do we have a leaflet or infographic sheet that we can give to tenants to show them a new way of reporting issues? So what we will have, if we don't already, and I will quickly double check this, is a knowledge base article on how to do this.
Jamie, they'll get one of those in their Fixflo account, so don't worry, branded as theirs. So yeah. Perfect.
As Will mentioned, you will get one of those in your Fixflo account. Cool. Where else do we have?
I think there's a few Fixflo ones at the top. Do you want me to just rifle through those?
Yeah, go ahead.
Atanas, sorry, hopefully I'm saying that right. About the tenant instructions for resolving an issue, can we customize them? Yep, 100%. Those pop-ups are fully your own, so feel free to insert GIFs, YouTube videos, whatever you want, and make them suit the properties in your portfolio. Fully customizable. Where's the list of gas boilers coming from? So that's built into Fixflo. Essentially, every single, sorry, not the list of them, the type essentially. So kind is built into Fixflo. The serial number they need to type out themselves. But in terms of the type of boiler it is, we've got everything under the sun in there. So that is kind of already there for the tenants. Can we customize some of the questions that the tenants answer? So at the bottom, and I'm happy to do this offline, just ping us at Fixflo any questions, but at the bottom of the repair request, there's 2 questions, either pet or alarm information. You can turn those off essentially, so they're not there. But in terms of when it's the actual questions relating to the issue itself, so kind of boiler, make, model, that kind of stuff, those things are hard coded, so they'll always be there, but they can just put they don't know if that's the case, or a dash or whatever it might be. Can Fixflo property managers use the Fixflo task creation? So Anthony, I'm not sure if you have the kind of more senior packages of Fixflo already. Of course, yeah, that still exists and you can still use that. The integration of those into Arthur, as Jamie mentioned, is coming. And can Fixflo workflow be embedded within the Arthur tenant app? So yeah, it is. So the Fixflo, when I logged in, it was on I'm in my Arthur tenant app, and then I'm just clicking raise a maintenance issue. So it's all a one-stop shop, if you like. They're deliberately only needing to go to one place, but yeah.
Cheers, Will. And I think we've just got a few in the chat. We have a link to Fixflo on our website where tenants raise an issue without the app. How will that integrate with Arthur? That's a good question. I believe it will work the same way. If you have if you are subscribed through Arthur, if you have your subscription live on Arthur and it's the same Fixflo account that you have on your website, then it should feed through to Arthur. However, I would message, since you already have a Fixflo account, I would drop Fixflo an email. Everybody's contact details will be on the next page. In fact, I'll just pull that up now. So support@fixflo.com, drop them an email with your query just to double check that. But if they are linking up your current Fixflo with your existing Arthur, and that link on your website is linked to your Fixflo, which is now linked to your Arthur, then it should work in the same way. Okay, will you now be making sure that the property details are included in work order messages? I previously reported that when we send a message to relate a work order to a landlord, property details are not displayed. Has this been corrected yet? This should have been corrected. In that email on your automation, you can customize that. So you'll want to go to automation, work orders, contractor invited to work order. If you right click in the text area, you can include property details, property address details. We call them variables. So if you right click in that area, what I can show you, I can quickly just show you that now. I don't want to go too far off topic because this is obviously regarding Fixflo, but let me just quickly show you. So we'll go to automation and we will go to work orders, contractor, invited to work order, email contractor. Okay, so this is the email they'll get. So what you want to do is just go in there and make sure you add the address details. So right click in here, okay, and type in unit, and you have your unit address, and that'll add in there the unit address there. Okay, save that, and then that will ensure that email is included. Okay. Finish these questions. Hi, will there be a discounted rate if you have Arthur and Fixflo? If you currently have a Fixflo account, and if you're currently using Fixflo, please email support@fixflo.com and they'll be able to discuss all the pricing with you. Likewise, if you are not a current Fixflo client and you are just using Arthur and you're interested in the integration, contact sales@arthuronline.co.uk and they'll be able to discuss pricing and things like that with you. Okay. Do tenants need to log into an account to raise an issue? So if they're using the app, I think we'll already answered this for you in the previous one at Tarnis, but I'll just go over it. If they're already using the app, they won't have to do anything different, exactly how they are. It's just that the screen will look different when they do raise an issue now. What is the cost to subscribe? Please, again, just to double reiterate this, if you are already a Fixflo client, make sure you go to Fixflo first, because you don't want to subscribe on Arthur. You want to link your current account, okay? And if you are brand new, drop sales@arthuronline.co.uk an email and they will be able to discuss that with you. Does this also help with making evictions easier too, as in laws, or is that still up to the landlord to know? I don't think Fixflo deals with eviction at all. It's more tenant raising maintenance issues. Obviously, an eviction will be served by yourself or the landlord. So no, it won't deal with evictions or serving any sections. Okay.
Just on that, the only thing is it will give you the time and date stamp, of course, of the maintenance problem, and then you know that automated email is going out to the tenant. So you are kind of ticking that box from a Section 21 standpoint, and have evidence that you're doing so. The full audit trail of kind of the issue being dealt with will come in September with essentials, and look forward to going through that one as and when.
Yeah. How do you stop tenants raising multiple issues on a single ticket? I mean, that one, we can't physically stop them raising issues unless we block their access to the tenant app. It's quite clear on their issue page that there is enough. So if I just quickly show you, bear with me 1 second. So if I'm a tenant and I want to raise an issue for my boiler, okay, I'm going to go onto my app, I'm going to go to issues, and I can see, okay, this is a bit different, is no hot water from the shower. So if I'm raising one for no hot water from the shower, I can see I've already got one there. So there's no need for me to re-raise that, but there's nothing that's physically going to stop me from raising as many as I want. Okay, but I mean, it's similar to them giving you a phone call. Okay, there's nothing you can really do to stop them. You just hope that they will obviously raise it once. It's not something we see often at all, but again, we can't physically stop that. Okay. I just looked down. What is the charge? Again, what is the charge? Is it monthly? Okay. If you're using Fixflo already, please email support@fixflo.com. If you are brand new to Fixflo, drop sales@arthuronline.co.uk. An email, please. Very intense. Does Fixflo also cover commercial property, i.e. the responsibilities may vary to the tenancy? Can this be customized? What do you think about that, Will? I mean, in terms of maintenance issues that happen in a commercial property and a residential property, leaks and things like that, you can obviously raise an issue if, regardless of what type of property you're in.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Sorry, I'll jump in there. Yeah, no, we do offer the front end that you saw, that we call it those list of tiles of pictures. We do have commercial versions of that. So I'm not sure who asked that question. But yeah, drop support at an email and it will be redirected to me, I'm sure. And I can help you out and come back to that one. The only problem that you might get is if your portfolio is split between both resi and commercial, we say just go for the resi because you've got enough. The broad spectrum of issues there kind of covers everything. If you are purely focused on commercial, yeah, we've got tools that can service that and products that can service that as well.
Cool. When a tenant raises a Fixflo issue by Arthur, I assume we would get notified by email like we currently would. Would the PDF be attached with that task so we can just forward that email through to the contractor instead of doing it via work order on Arthur? So you will get an email, as you always do, as long as you have the automation for it. Okay. If you have the automation set up to do so, it will be there. What you'll have on your email is you will have a link to the document. It won't be the actual document. It will be a link and you will be able to forward that onto your contractor. Yeah. And they'll just be able to click on that link and it'll open it up in their browser rather than opening it up as an actual file. Okay. Fiddling pricing is per tenancy and Arthur is per unit. What will it be going forward? Again, depending on what type of client you are, if you are using Fixflo already, please email support@Fixflo. They'll be able to discuss all that with you. And if you aren't using Fixflo, drop our sales line, sales@arthuronline.co.uk an email, and then they can help you there. Will we see the tasks on both Fixflo and Arthur? Yes, you will. So they'll be on both sides, but you want to, if you have the integration through Arthur, it would be best to manage that through Arthur to keep, the idea of the integration is to keep everything in one continuous workflow rather than using disconnected softwares. We integrate with Arthur so everything can be done through Arthur in terms of dealing with the task. Okay, anything about pricing, as I've mentioned, please just email sales@arthuronline.co.uk if you are an Arthur client and you haven't used Fixflo before. If you have an active Fixflo account and you kind of want to link it up with Arthur, your already existing account, drop support@fixflo.com and email. If a tenant reports an issue using a different email address or contact details, will it ignore it or will Arthur review the updated contact details, i.e. for use outside of contractor? So it won't ignore it. It will come through on the task. So the tenant contact details will come through on the task. So if they change their mobile number or their email address on the Fixflo, when they're raising it through Fixflo, that will come through on the task. However, the tenant profile in Arthur that you have set up and you are storing their data, that will remain the same. Only you can change that, okay? But it will pull through to the task and be visible. Okay, again, just a couple more about the cost, just to reiterate that one last time. If you're using Arthur and you've never used Fixflo before, please drop sales@arthuronline.co.uk an email. And you can just ask them about the pricing and things like that. And if you are using Fixflo currently, you have an active Fixflo account, or even an inactive one that you might want to kind of start using again, contact Fixflo and they'll be able to discuss that with you. Will it link with out of hours systems? So no, it will be done through Arthur, potentially via our API. So I'm presuming you mean when somebody raises a task that's out of hours, you want an email to go to let them know that you're obviously not in the office or whatever, so you can dealt with in the morning or something like that. Potentially that would need to be done via Arthur. So regardless of the Fixflo integration, if you have been able to do this via API through Arthur before the Fixflo integration, then it will still work, because the way Arthur is looking at these maintenance issues is they are just tasks coming to Arthur. Essentially, all Arthur knows is that it came from Fixflo, but it is still a task in Arthur. So if you are able to do that via API in Arthur currently, it will continue to work. Yeah. Raising multiple issues on the same ticket, i.e. boiler, electrics on boiler ticket. It would be difficult for them to do that. Again, it's quite intuitive and quite clear that when you're raising an issue about a boiler, you've selected a photo of a boiler, essentially Fixflo is essentially forcing you and dictating the information that you're giving to us. So it really should be quite difficult, and I think you won't see a lot of that at all. There is obviously an added description, so what you may see, and again, this is down to the tenant's competency, I suppose. If they have they've raised an issue about the boiler, there is an extra kind of added details field. If they put in there, oh, and the electrics aren't working either, that's obviously not ideal, but we shouldn't be seeing that. I think it's quite obvious that when you're raising a boiler issue, every question is in regards to the boiler. But there is, of course, a free text field, so hopefully they use that just to reiterate the issue with the boiler. Will be charged for properties that are not managed, such as let-only properties where the tenants do not have access to the app. Again, please drop the sales email a call if you are a Arthur client. If you are an existing Fixflo client, then please email support at Fixflo. Can you manage the job in the same way on Arthur that you can on Fixflo? Remind me in 2 days when the set task to live on Arthur, it disappears from desktop until you go back to it. When you set the task to live on Arthur, it disappears.
I think, Jamie, I think Margaret's going on to, so that's Fixflo Essentials. That's kind of how the workflow is managed in the more senior Fixflo products. So that will be coming soon. But I think the answer in short for now is no, but yeah, coming soon in big red letters. I think for that one. Cool. I think just, and then Louise has just got in Q&A again. Benefit of using Fixflo. Oh, there you go. Nice one to end on, maybe. So I think it's kind of threefold, really. So reduction in phone calls, emails, text messages, all that thing about repairs. It all comes through one avenue. I say it's about 1.3 million properties on Fixflo. It's about 40% of residential property in the private residential property in the UK use Fixflo. So tenants love using it. It's about 300,000 repairs a month. The pop-ups are all about affecting your bottom line ultimately. Are you able to stop that cost of sending, like I said, electrician out to flick a switch in a fuse box, 50, 60 quid, whatever that is? They really add up over time. And the other key thing, most important, is accurate diagnosis. How often are you going back and forth with a tenant of, well, that's not your washing machine, it's your dishwasher, that kind of thing. What's the make? Have you tried this? Have you turned it on at the wall? All that kind of stuff. It's all about that time drain. Time is valuable, time is money, and we're giving that back to you to focus back on your business. And I'm just going to finish on students. Stuart, so it's just put FYI for those who haven't used Fixflo, it's ace. So thank you, Stuart. We'll finish on that one maybe.
Great place to be. Thank you for that, Stuart. And just to echo that, I think you guys, if you do subscribe, which hopefully you do, you will also echo Stuart's sentiments. Great. So that's that for today's webinar. Thank you for your questions. Thank you all for attending. I want to thank Will for also attending and giving us some great insight on Fixflo and how to use that. As mentioned before, this is recorded. It will be going onto our website and it will be going onto YouTube as well. So look out for that there if you want to rewatch it. And in the meantime, do drop sales@arthuronline.co.uk an email for pricing and subscribing if you haven't used Fixflo before. If you are using Fixflo, contact the Fixflo team at support@fixflo.com. Awesome. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Cheers, Will.
Thanks, Jamie.
Cheers, Will. Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye, guys. Bye.